Hey guys, it's Di from Bags for Bubbles, and there are a couple fun handbag and fashion tags going around right now. So I thought I'd do a couple of those to kind of get kick-started here at the beginning of the school year. And the tag I'm going to be doing today I saw on the channel Spanders 10. So I'm going to be doing the handbag tag today, and I will link her channel down below. She really loves Louis Vuitton handbags and also a wide variety of other bags as well. So I really appreciate that, especially because I'm kind of starting to appreciate more of a variety right now too. So I will get right to it, and I think there is like 12 questions. Yes, 12 questions. So the first question is, what is your favorite brand and why? And I kind of go through phases with this. Right now I don't really feel like I've settled into my next phase yet, if that makes sense. When I first started out in handbags, I really loved Coach handbags, and then I kind of transitioned looking for other brands. I was into Marc Jacobs for a little while. Then I found Balenciaga, and I loved Balenciaga for a very long time, and I still really love Balenciaga bags. And then it just seemed like they weren't the most practical for my new mommy lifestyle, and that's when I found my love for Louis Vuitton. And I already had liked Louis Vuitton accessories before then, but I started getting more bags. Now I kind of feel like my kids are getting a little bit older. I feel like you kind of see LV everywhere. No offense if you really love LV. I kind of feel like maybe I'm moving out of that phase, and I want just maybe a little bit more understated bags. Been looking at Mulberry a little bit recently. I've been loving my Kate Spades, and I actually went into the Kate Spade store the other day. A couple things caught my eye. So I'm just kind of going into more of like an all leather, like more understated, non-logo-y phase right now. And I still love my LV accessories. I guess I don't have a favorite brand right now is what I'm trying to say. So if you look back at my timeline, it would have gone from Coach to Balenciaga to Louis Vuitton. And right now I kind of feel like I'm in between brands. I still really like Louis Vuitton, but I don't know if I would call it my favorite. It's definitely my favorite for accessories. I think that hands down they make the best accessories in small leather goods, 100%. But bags, I don't know, I'm starting to kind of be up in the air. Number 2, do you consider yourself a collector? This is another thing where I feel like I'm in transition, because at one point I think I really was, and now I'm really not liking like having all this stuff just sitting around that's not getting used. And I would really like to get my collection back to a point where I'm using the majority of it. So what that means I don't quite know yet. I have sold a couple things. I may sell more. I don't really know. I think I'm in a transition phase right now. But if you would have asked me this before, I would have said probably yes. Number 3, if you had to part with a bag, what would it be? This one is actually pretty easy for me, and it's actually sitting behind me. This is going to be a huge surprise, but the next bag that I really think that I've reconciled myself that is not for me would be the Brea. I love this bag. This is actually one of my favorite bags, so I realize you're probably scratching your head right now going, what? But this bag is not super practical for a stay-at-home mommy lifestyle where my life pretty much consists of taking kids to school, dropping them off, going to school events, and going to Target. That is pretty much my life these days. I do have the occasional date night, but the Brea is a little bit big for date night, to be honest. You know, when I go on date nights, I really want more of like clutches and things like that. So at this point, it doesn't really seem like I will necessarily be going back into the workforce, at least not anytime soon. And so this is kind of the bag that I've zeroed in on that may be the next bag to go out, which is kind of weird, as I wanted this bag really badly, and I still really love this bag. But it's just not the most practical bag for me. So this would be the one. Number 4 is, when did you fall in love with handbags? And I think I've always loved handbags, even when I was buying like lesser expensive brands that you find at like a, it was like called a Famous Bar back then. It's in Macy's now. Like a Famous Bar or Dillard's or things like that. I was buying like Nine West. I loved handbags, even when I was in high school and buying like those lesser expensive brands. And so that just kind of translated naturally into when the handbag craze started. I was like, oh, there's all these other brands out there. You can actually get something that's quality that lasts longer than a couple months. Because that was one thing that drove me nuts, is I actually went through handbags quite often when I was buying the less expensive brands because they wear out. And I didn't like using a worn out handbag. So I would say probably like in high school and college, I really kind of zeroed in on handbags as like my thing, and it went from there. What was your first designer bag? My first designer bag would be a Coach bag. And it was like a little Soho, like flat bag. I didn't actually keep it, but it was like a camel leather bag, and I got it at the outlet. And I loved that bag for a really long time. Like that was like my thing. That was my jam. Like I just had this all leather Coach bag and I thought it was great. And then I started branching out and getting more bags, and then I started rapidly getting more bags and starting to look at other brands, and it kind of went from there. Number 6, why do you think you are obsessed with handbags? I really love handbags, and the old adage for me really works where no matter what size I am, my handbag always fits. So I may change my lifestyle, you know, going from being in the working world to being a stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home wife, and my lifestyle changes, but handbags are something that always fit regardless of my lifestyle. Certain styles may no longer work for me, but it just seems like it's something that naturally I can be into and always kind of works with my life and size, if you know what I mean. So, you know, being like super into fashion or whatever doesn't work for me personally because my body has changed so much over the past couple decades. But handbags, they still work for me, so it works great. Number 7 is there an emotional component? I would probably say for this one, slightly now. And in the past, probably a lot more so. So in the past, I could definitely say I was like attached to bags, which people are not in handbags. They totally are not going to get that at all. But I could definitely say like I was attached to bags, and if something happened to that bag, I would be heartbroken. I could honestly say that. I kind of feel like I'm getting away from that now, just I guess as either my life changes or just I'm like busy now. I'm like, not that I wasn't busy before, but like just I'm running through YouTube channels and my brain just works in a series of film, edit, upload. It really starts to take over your life, and so I guess that's become like my new hobby. So I'm still passionate about handbags, but it's not quite like that rapid point it used to be. But I do know like that emotional component is there for maybe a couple things. Like I have my Marc Jacobs multi-pocket bag. I don't think I could ever part with that bag. It would probably be worthless to sell on the secondary market anyways. But that is my Lorelai bag. That is the bag that Lorelai used in Gilmore Girls. How can you part with that bag? So I definitely think that there's still some emotion there. It's just a matter of it's changed ever so slightly. Question number 8 is, do you plan or impulse buy? Now, when I was younger, I think I was definitely more guilty of impulse purchasing, like even over the internet. Like I would just see something and be like, ooh, that's a good deal, click buy. As I've gotten older, I definitely plan out everything, a lot more. Everything from handbags to accessories to furniture. I mull over everything a lot more now. So I definitely think that everything nowadays is a lot more planned out, and I think that's probably why I've started buying a lot less, is because I actually mull. Even if I know that I want something, I mull quite a bit over purchases because I've kind of hit this point where space is a bigger commodity, is a bigger value. I don't know what the word would be there. Space is almost becoming more important than stuff, if you know what I mean. Like I'm hitting that point where I'm in my 30s and you know the stuff can almost start to take over. So I really have hit the point where I have to really weigh out my purchases and make sure this is something I love, this is something I'm going to use, this is something I'm going to make space for, and then figure out if I'm going to have to get rid of stuff to make literally the room for it, or if I'm just going to kind of squeeze everything in. So I think, you know, I deliberate a lot more these days. The one rule I do have is that if I see something and I love it, I really have a gauge there. So if it's like a home decor item, if I see something and I love it and I walk around the store and I can't stop thinking about it, I might buy it that same trip. If it's something like a handbag or a clothing item, I may have that same rule where if I walk around the store and I just can't get it out of my mind, I may buy it. Or with like handbags, if it's a bigger purchase, I may say the rule, if it's possible and I know it's going to be possible with my schedule to come back the next day, literally think about it overnight, and if I cannot get that thing out of my head, go back and purchase it the next day. It happens very rarely, but the one thing I will say is when I was at Kate Spade yesterday, there was a handbag on the bottom shelf, and it caught my eye, and my kids were going bonkers, and then we had to get out of there. So I didn't get a chance to try it on, nothing. I cannot get this bag out of my head. I want to try it on, and I want to see what it looks like on me. So we were not able to get back down there today, but I'm planning on going to the store hopefully the next week or so. And if it stands out to me again and I try it on and I like it, it's not too heavy and all that sort of thing, probably will just buy it, because if it's been on my mind that long, that tells me that I really, really like it. Number 9, do you have a dream bag? And this is going to be probably surprising also. No, I do not. I do not. While I think that things like Birkins are lovely, they are absolutely not. They are not something that is even remotely would be useful in my life. Like, I would just feel awkward carrying like a $20,000 handbag around. Like, awkward. And I think it kind of, like, this Brea is a great example. Like, I love how this looks. This is beautiful. You could just get dressed up and look gorgeous and go to work, and it's lovely. But I have to really kind of think in terms of what's practical for me right now, and I lead a very casual lifestyle. So really, honestly, even every Chanel that I've tried, I just feel like it doesn't really work for me. So in that respect, I don't have any dream handbags. Is that horrible? I don't, because I feel like all those bags out there that people like strive for, I don't feel like really are something that would work for me. So I don't know. They would be in a bag that would end up being another bag sitting on the shelf. They'd be very gorgeous. If someone gave it to me, I'd use it as a piece of art for sure, but it wouldn't work for my day in and day out life. Number 10, why do you share on YouTube? Holy cow. So I could do a whole tag on this. In fact, I think I've been tagged on a Secret Diaries of YouTubers, which will be another tag that'll come up soon. But why do I share on YouTube? So initially when I started on YouTube, way back when, this is my original channel, I did not even know that communities on YouTube were a thing. I had no idea. I was simply using YouTube as a means to an end for a different location to post my video about bags or my collection on a different location. I had no idea that people would be finding me here on, I know that sounds ridiculous, but I had no idea that people would be like commenting and finding me and like, you grow this channel. That just didn't even occur to me. So I initially started sharing to share those things elsewhere, to share them on forums, to share them out in the world. And then once I started to realize like, hey, there's like people viewing my videos and commenting over here on the YouTube platform, maybe I should pay more attention to this. I started doing handbag reviews specifically to try to help people out. I mean, for a lot of people, they're kind of a big investment. If you do want to mull over it, you maybe want to know the pros and cons of what's going to work for you, what's not going to work for you, maybe just get someone's opinion, especially if you're in kind of a similar situation that I am with like young kids, and even if you're not, sometimes just another opinion helps. I get that because I love opinions, especially about buying stuff. Like if you go shopping with me, I am that person that's going to hold up everything and be like, what do you think? Should I buy it? And if you say yes, I'm probably going to buy it. But, you know, I like getting opinions. That's just how I shop. So that's how I initially started doing handbag reviews. And then it went crazy from there. So now I have 3 channels on YouTube, and it's a thing now. I'm in like handbag community, the mommy community. I've started a home organization channel. So I don't really know what happened along the way, but I found out YouTube like had its own communities, and it went crazy from there. Number 11 is, what is your favorite handbag? So I pulled out a couple handbags down here, and I can't pick just one, okay? I can't. My favorite LV handbag right now is probably my Palermo PM, but favorite all-time handbag, like that I love, would be my Eleanor handbag. And why I call this my Eleanor handbag is I have bought and sold this bag 3 times. This is the 3rd one that I've had, and it finally has stuck. I love this bag. This is the 2007 Aquamarine City from Balenciaga, and it's just a really gorgeous, unique color. This particular one, because they were 3 different bags and of varying conditions, this one is probably about the best condition one that I've gotten, which is rare with Balenciaga. You know, the later on that you try to find a color, it's usually in worse condition. And so, I don't know, I've just been trying to keep her pretty and pristine, and I use her occasionally, but this is probably my favorite bag, and I have a long history with this bag. So I think it's kind of near and dear to me for that reason. My favorite probably practical bag though, like just as far as practicality's sake, oh, well I grabbed the wrong one. I meant to grab my Silver Giant hardware part-time, but I grabbed my Black City, but anyhow, a darker colored Balenciaga bag would be my favorite, like, practical bag. So I have 3 answers for that one. Number 12, and the last question is, who do you tag to do this video? So I've been super busy the past month or so doing Vlogust on my other channel. Not entirely sure who's already done this, but I'm going to tag a bunch of people down below. If you've already done it, link your video to me and I will be sure to watch it. Thank you to mspanders10 for doing this video. I think that she was the person that made this tag. So thanks for making it if you did. And I tag Mina from Housewife of SC. I tag Brooke from Pink to Paris. And I tag anyone else that wants to do this video. Let me know down below in a link or a message. And let me know that you've done it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the handbag tag. And thanks for watching. Have a great day.